of the flags, of the description of the flags, raise your hand and we'll get you one of those too. We're so close. Good morning, everyone. We need one more person to sign up to light a candle. In the back, Suzanne, in the back. All right. Good morning, everyone. If you do not yet have a copy, and for those of you online, we will provide a link for this. If you do not yet have a copy of the flag sheet, raise your hand and we'll get you one of those. All right, I will bring those and Suzanne will get us started. We're organized as usual. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Westside Unitarian Universalist Church on this beautiful, if somewhat warm morning. Summer is here. Welcome to those of you who are here in the room with us, and also to those who are watching on YouTube. So welcome. We are a church which welcomes all, which we are emphasizing particularly today in our celebration of our Pride service. Okay. For any of you who don't know me, I'm Suzanne Molnar, member of the worship committee, and for that matter, proud mother of a cisgender woman and a trans son, both of them. And I'm going to tear up. Never mind. Yeah. There are quite a number of announcements in the order of service, so would you look at those, please? And they will be scrolling for those of you who are watching YouTube. Is there any other announcement that needs to be made? Okay. Okay. Well, for those of you who will be with us who are in the building, there'll be coffee after the service and Pride-themed snacks and conversation, so please join us for
nibbling, drinking, talking. And where is Sandra? She's left the piano. Sandra, I should have said immediately, thank you for the music. It just set such a lovely tone. Okay, now Carol will invite the bowl to sound.
Good morning again, everyone. It is lovely to see you all here in the room. If you are with us virtually, we're also very happy that you're here today. I'm Reverend Carol Bedeau. I am privileged to serve this awesome congregation. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and happy Pride. You're supposed to go, woohoo! Okay, we need to get the energy up because it's kind of an up energy kind of day. So today, I want you to all see the shirt that I'm wearing. It says, love resiliently. Rebelliously, sorry. Resiliently is on a different shirt. Love rebelliously. Right, with the dandelion growing through. So this, I'm very proud. This is an original design of my trans son, who is an artist, creating art that's all trans-affirming art. So the resiliently is on a different shirt. But, so if you're curious about that and you're curious about some more of the different kinds of, we have a bunch of stuff in the back. If you do not yet have a flag, you need to get one. I think we might still have some tattoos. I think we might still have some necklaces maybe and some pins. So if you need some of that before we get going, make sure you get it. Oh, and lanyards. We got some lanyards too. If any, 2 more lanyards left. 2 more Pride lanyards left. So if you need some stuff, raise your hand there. We got some lanyards left. So thank you all for showing up with your Pride showing today. That's awesome. So when I invite the bowl to sound, usually we get meditative. Today, let's get not meditative. This is rowdy. I heard you, Bridget. Bridget in the room said, let's get rowdy. So today we're going to practice. If you are home doing this virtually, you can get super rowdy and we'll never know. So I'm going to invite the bowl to sound 3 times, and I'm going to invite you to get rowdy each time. Okay, you all can do better than that. All right. And now we'll light our chalice. And I believe Barry's going to light our chalice for us this morning.
Chalice lighting words are a series of 3 quotes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Yes, 19th century, very applicable to the present, and dang, I wish I could write the way he could. Do yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. There's that. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. And dare to live the life you've dreamed for yourself. Go forward and make your dreams come true. Thank you. I was going to say thank you, Ralph. He went by Waldo for some reason. But thank you, Dr. Emerson.
I had no idea he went by Waldo. That's fascinating. It takes the "Where's Waldo" thing to like a whole new level, doesn't it? Like I'm now imagining Ralph Waldo Emerson in like the hat with the scarf. Okay, Suzanne, I'm going to ask you to light our community candles for us. These 2 right here. And we usually light these to focus on something that's a celebration and also something that's a grief or a sorrow or a concern. So this morning, we're going to light the candle of concern for what is happening in the Middle East. It's very concerning. all over in 10,000 different ways. So we light a candle of care and attention and concern for all the things that are happening in so many different people's homes and lives there. And we light a candle of celebration that it is summer solstice. The summer solstice is this weekend, which reminds us that in the face of all the things that human beings do, the earth manages to keep turning. And we continue to have seasons, and we continue to have reasons for hope, because the world keeps spinning. Now we have some other special candles this morning. So I'm going to use Suzanne's handout here to name who's going to come do these. And I'm going to let Suzanne be the boss of the candle table. How's that sound? You be the boss of the candle table. Our candle table. Okay, so today we are learning about all the different pride flags and all the different colors and all the things they represent. So we have two different little candle lighters over there. You can try the small one or the big one, whichever works for you. And we're going to talk about all these different colors and what they mean. So Ellen has red. The red candle represents the red on the pride flag, which has been consistent over many pride flags. And red on the pride flag was originally intended to simply represent the pulse of life, the blood in our veins, the vitality and the passion of our lives. Virginia is lighting our orange candle for us. And again, the orange candle is like the orange on the flag. The orange has been on all of the pride flags. And the color originally was designated to indicate healing, the quality of healing. Ash, you have yellow. And again, the yellow has been on all of the flags from the beginning. It has taken on multiple meanings. The original yellow on the original pride flag represents sunlight, joy, just the light of each dawning day. Tremaine's going to light our green candle. Again, that one is from the original flag and has continued to be on the flag. Green is to represent nature and just our connection to the earth and the power of nature as part of the movement for equality. Jazzy's going to light our blue candle. The blue, and you'll notice that I've used a teal color here. Actually, I'll tell you about this in a minute, but the original pride flag actually had a hot pink and a teal blue in addition to the regular blue, so I included the teal blue. The blue on the flag represents serenity. And Mel is lighting our violet, our central violet candle. That on the original flag was intended to denote spirit, the essential self, the power of the spirit. And now we've got a couple other candles. Suzanne is going to light the light blue and the pink candles. These come from the trans flag, and we'll tell you more about what they represent in a few minutes. But the light blue and the pink, as well as the white, so is this Dwayne that's doing the white? Who's doing? Oh, David's doing the white. David's going to do the white candle. The light blue, the pink, and the white are the colors of the trans flag. And the white particularly represents non-binary identities. Barry's going to light the additional purple candle. This comes from the bisexuality flag. So purple represents the mix of blue and red or pink to represent bisexuality. And Yetta's going to light our brown candle. Brown was a color that was added to represent people of color, and the way that people of color had not been fully represented in the LGBTQIA plus community for a long time. And finally, the black candle. Who's lighting our black candle? Is that Bill's lighting our black candle? Oh, who? Bob is? Okay. Bill, sorry, we're going to get your name right.
You have to press that first.
It's the magic lighter. Okay, so the black candle, this comes from a flag that was developed during the AIDS, the peak of the AIDS crisis, and is meant to help us remember those who have been lost to AIDS. So just take a look at that. And you might at some point pull out your sheet there. We're going to use your sheet in a minute. For those of you who are with us virtually, I apologize. I didn't find this in time to get it online, but we will post a link for it. I will describe these flags as I talk about them in a little bit. But notice all the colors. Look at all the colors, which are meant to remind us that humanity and creation is a rainbow of all kinds of colors. So I'm going to invite the choir to come up, and we are going to sing True Colors as a way to encourage us to shine our true colors. You feel free to sing along, certainly on the chorus. Thanks to the choir. Awesome, you guys. So, Pride is something we all are somewhat familiar with, but frankly, I didn't know much of the history of it, and I definitely didn't know much of the history of the flags. So we're going to talk today a little bit about the history of these flags, because as you probably know, we've gone from one simple pride flag to a whole lot of pride flags, right? But first I'm going to give you some dates to be aware of right now here in our world. Pride Month is June, and that's when we celebrate it. But in the Knoxville area, the dates have changed a little bit for when Pride celebrations happen. So some of you might have attended the South Knox Pride. That was just yesterday. South Knox Pride was yesterday. Woohoo! Right? Next Saturday, June 28th, from 12 to 5 at the Hay Bear Cafe on Middlebrook is when the I believe it's the West Knox Pride. West Knox Pride is next weekend. Okay, Blount County Pride is September 6th. And Knox Pride, our big Knoxville festival, is the first weekend in October. So now we celebrate Pride from June till the end of October. Woohoo! Right? So the Knox Pride changed that partly out of concerns for the weather, right? It's really hot, and they wanted people to be safe, and so anyway, so there are Pride celebrations, multiple Pride celebrations still happening that you can participate in. And of course, no Pride celebration is complete without some flags. But there are a lot of the flags now. So we're going to run down a brief history of some of the Pride flags. We're not going to hit all of them. Some examples of contemporary Pride flags you might see at a gathering. There's going to be some that we're going to talk about that I have not listed, and you all are going to help me. So, and then after that, we're going to play a game with Pride flags. So before the modern Pride flag, people who were LGBTQIA plus were identified by their communities in ways that were not positive. So the pink triangle was used to symbolize or denote people in the queer community. And actually in Nazi Germany, queer people were forced to wear pink triangles as a way to mark them out in a way that was dangerous, right? That symbol has since been reclaimed by the queer community, but understandably wanted a new symbol. So when Pride started happening and people started celebrating Pride, the original Pride flag, which is not this one, it's not this one that we see now. The original Pride flag was created in the 1970s by a gay activist named Gilbert Baker. Gilbert Baker was in San Francisco, and he was a friend of Harvey Milk. Does everybody know who Harvey Milk was? Harvey Milk was the amazing public official, the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California. And Gilbert Baker was a friend of Harvey Milk's. And he created a flag that actually had 8 colors, not 6. So before the red, there was a hot pink to denote sexuality. And then there was red for life, orange for healing, yellow for the sun, green for nature, turquoise for art or magic, indigo or blue for harmony, and violet for spirit. So that original flag had 2 more colors. It had a hot pink and a turquoise or a teal on it. That flag was first used in the San Francisco Gay Freedom Day Parade on June 25th in 1978. Okay? Now, ultimately, it's a very mundane reason the hot pink and the turquoise were removed, because the fabric was too hard to find. So people were wanting to make their own flags, and they could get the basic colors, no problem, but the hot pink and the turquoise were really hard to get, so they said, we got to simplify this and make it easier for people to make flags. So they were removed, and the more familiar 6-color flag came out in the 1980s. Okay, come on. It came out in the, okay. I worked really hard on that one. Thank you, Mel. Okay, thank you. I had to get the phrase in there somewhere. I'm like, where am I going to put this in the service? I got to get it in here somewhere. Okay. All right. Now, also during the 1980s, during the height of the AIDS epidemic in the 80s and into the 90s, a new flag called the Victory Over AIDS flag was created. And it included a black stripe at the bottom of the flag to remember and honor those lost to AIDS. So if you hold the flag up with the red on the top, let's see if it's on, I don't know if it's on here. Where is it? It's probably on here somewhere. So that's why I'm describing them all, because there are more than you can put on one piece of paper. So it's the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and then black, right? To honor those lost to AIDS. Now, following that, in 1998, activist Michael Page created another flag to honor people who are bisexual. That particular flag has 3 stripes: pink, and then purple, and then blue. So a big wide pink stripe, a big wide purple stripe, and a big wide blue stripe, with the pink denoting the feminine, the blue denoting the masculine, and the purple denoting both. Okay? Monica Helms, who talked to Michael Page, who had created the bisexuality flag, wanted to create a new flag for trans people. Monica Helms was a veteran who had served in the Navy from 1970 to 1978 and created the trans flag in 1999 after talking with Michael Page, who had created the bisexual flag. She wanted to create something to represent her community, the trans community. And so that flag, let's see if it's on here. Somebody help me find the trans. If you're looking at the sheet, it's in the 3rd row farthest to the right. So that flag is light blue on the top and bottom, a light blue stripe with a light blue stripe, and then a pink stripe and a pink stripe, and a white stripe in the middle. So it's light blue, pink, light blue. And the reason for that was, again, using the pink and the blue, traditionally colors that are denoted when, we do the pink, blue baby thing, saying that people can choose their identity, and the white representing the choice to be non-binary. Monica Helms emphasized that the symmetry was important. The symmetry of this flag is important because she said the pattern is such that no matter which way you fly it, it is always correct. We are always okay to be whoever we are, flying our flag however we choose, right? Now, so those flags were around. Other flags were being created that are less well-known. In 2017, the city of Philadelphia actually introduced another flag. The mayor's office for LGBTQ affairs decided to create a new pride flag, which included 2 new stripes at the top. One black, which was from the Victory Over AIDS flag, and one brown to represent the often unacknowledged communities of color that are central to the LGBTQIA plus community. So you'll see that one. It's called the Philly flag or the Philadelphia flag. If you happen to have the sheet in front of you, top row furthest to the right, black, brown, then red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, or violet. So that was an important and very political act, actually. The city of Philadelphia actually hired a design company to work on that, and it really created a stir. It really created a stir in a good way. In a good way. It caused a lot of upheaval and a lot of conversation, which was what was needed. A year later, in 2018, what we call the Progress Pride flag. This one. So this is the Progress Pride flag. This is really the most commonly used pride flag now, and I realized we need to buy one for West Side, okay? So these various flags that people had been creating were combined to develop what is now called the Progress Pride flag. This was created by an activist named Daniel Quasar, and it looks like the traditional 6 colors of the Pride flag, and then set on top of that in a triangle that points to the right are the colors of the trans flag and the black and brown of the Victory Over AIDS and the Philly flag. So for those of you who are watching us virtually and may not have this in front of you, you have a series of arrow or triangles, white, pink, light blue, brown, and black, pointing to the right, set on top of the Pride flag. One of the reasons that this flag was created this way and why it's called the Progress flag is that arrow means we're not done. It means we are still moving forward. There is still work to do. Okay? In 2021, another component was added to the Progress Pride flag. So let's see if this is on here. If you look down just the second row up from the bottom, I will describe this for those of you who don't have it in front of you. You will see the intersex inclusive pride flag. So second row from the bottom looks like the Progress Pride flag, but there's a yellow triangle and a circle. So this was added. They added an additional, in the arrows or the triangles, they added another layer, a yellow layer, and put a blue circle in the center of it. It was created by Valentino Vecchieri, who was the founder of Intersex Equality Rights in the UK. And it's meant to bring intersex people to the center of the LGBTQIA community and conversation. So there are many, many, many more flags than these. For example, up on our wall here, we have the Ally flag. That is called the Ally flag, which I didn't do a lot of research on. And what other flags have we got in the room? Ash, what flag are you wearing?
Non-binary.
The non-binary.
With help from Ryan.
Okay, Ash and Ryan. Ash and Ryan devoted some inordinate amount of time to creating how many?
Around 200.
200 flags. Wow. On toothpicks. So, using your intuition, using whatever it is, and I think we're going to need maybe one more basket. So we're going to pass around baskets. You get to choose a flag or two, and those of you who are with us virtually, your job is to just think about this. What flag or what community do you identify with? You can put that in the chat, and you'll be able to contribute as well. But everybody in this room, your first activity of our Pride celebration is to choose a flag or two and tell us why. We're going to bring around the microphone and you're going to get a chance to share. So we're going to take a pause and y'all are going to start looking. So you might, if you happen to have a cheat sheet or if you happen to be with us virtually, you can Google it. We're going to pass around flags and you get to choose. so we're going to keep passing the baskets around. And if somebody in the room could be logged on to our YouTube, so we have, I don't care who, Linda, can you do that? Log on for us? Okay. We're going to start sharing about these. I think we might need to turn this. Brad, can we turn on the microphone, please? This is one of our fun chaos-oriented services. All right, so who would like to share about the reason you Lori, way in the back. Lori's like, pick me. Okay. Here we go. Oh my gosh, first let me just say, Lori, for those of you who are with us virtually, Lori is wearing a shirt with a cat with rainbow glasses that says Pride, P-U-R-R-I-D-E. Pride. I love it. Okay.
So I picked the Abro flag, Abro Pride, which, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I picked the Abro flag because I had not ever heard that phrase before. And I'll have to think about it because, I mean, I identifying as straight, and then I really thought I was lesbian, and then I kind of thought I was bisexual, and I thought, well, it's an interesting question to maybe there's another definition for that besides bisexual, because abro apparently means somebody who's fluid in their sexuality and goes back and forth or around or whatever.
Can you describe the colors of it for those who are with us?
So it's green on the top, darker green, lighter green, white, pink, and red, or dark pink, I don't know. I don't know why, though.
I don't know.
So I'll have to keep Googling.
Awesome. There's no reason. They thought it looked cool. Okay. All right. Who else wants to share about a flag you chose? I'll go over here to Jazzy, coming all the way over here. All right. Okay, Jazzy, what'd you choose?
Bisexual.
Okay, and for those of you who cannot see it, it is pink, and then purple, and then blue. Anything else you want to say about it?
I chose it because a lot of people around me, including me and my brother, are bisexual.
Awesome. Okay, awesome. And Judy's here. She's
Okay. All right. So I've got the trans flag. And the story on that one is that my younger daughter, who is currently in Baltimore at the big UU meeting there, has two children, a girl and a boy. And now she still has a girl and a boy. But they traded. The girl became a boy, the boy became a girl. And it's working out fine.
so 2 trans grandchildren. Awesome. Okay, and Alice?
I chose the lesbian flag with the various colors.
Okay.
I'll let you.
The square, go ahead.
Okay. I spent many, many years of my life in the closet acting out the things I felt that was expected and normal. And then once I got out on my own and away from the judgmentalness of parents and other people, I became first bisexual, but finally I got to where I really belonged. Okay.
Awesome. And the lesbian flag is really pretty. It's like a red and then a darker orange and a lighter orange, then white, then kind of a hot pink, and then kind of a purpley pink, and then red. It's kind of a burgundy at the bottom. It's gorgeous. All right. Ellen?
I have to stand up. Although someone told me just last week that they couldn't tell when I was standing up, so anyway. Could we have a special short? Yeah. So I just reached in because I am curious, and the one that I found the most interesting, and I hope I can tell this little bit about it, and it will be taken appropriately. But so I have a flag that is dark green, and then kind of lighter green, and then white, and gray, and then black. And it is the aromantic flag. And I had to Google that. It represents those people who do not feel any romantic attraction to anyone, or basically asexual. And someone sitting on the front row with me said, "Oh, you mean old?"
Good heavens. Okay, now, so I had an interesting conversation with one of my kids. I have many kids and stepkids and their partners, and I don't remember where I had this conversation, but at one point I was having a conversation. This was many years ago, and it was an educational conversation for me because it was a conversation in which someone in a younger generation said to me, sexuality, romantic attraction, affectional attraction, and gender identity are not the same. They're all different things, right? So you can be cisgendered and aromantic and still be sexual. You can be asexual and still be romantic and be the gender and the sexual orientation and the romantic and the affectional orientation. These are all different components that can be mixed and matched in all kinds of ways, which is why we get so many flags, right? Because you can have multiple identities. All right, Tremaine, you had your hand up? Nope. Okay, nope. Okay, who else? Okay, Yetta.
So I randomly chose one, and then I just decided that I might just use Google. I took a picture of it and used Lens to find out what it was, and I guess it is a Libra gender asexual or gray sexual flag. It's got purple on the top and bottom, gray in the middle, and white in the very middle.
Anybody know anything more about that one? Ash will now inform us. Ash is the flag expert.
After printing out 200 of those things, you'd think. So gray sexual is essentially not immediately feeling sexual attraction or feeling it only under certain circumstances. Like, for example, you may only feel sexual attraction to someone after you've gotten to know them for a really long time.
Excellent. Okay. Anna?
Alrighty, I didn't choose a flag because it wasn't in there, but I felt, I'm not Native American, but I feel very strongly about the Two-Spirit Pride flag. I had the opportunity to be out west and work with Native Americans, the Diné people in the Four Corners, and their way of looking at things was eye-opening and enlightening. And they don't see things as something's wrong or a problem. It's just natural. And they do believe it's two spirits. They're amazing. And that's what I chose. It wasn't made, but it's a beautiful flag. It's it looks like the traditional pride flag, but it has the Native American concho with the two feathers hanging in the middle. And it's their way of thinking is just beautiful. They could teach us all.
So Two-Spirit is a Native American term. I'm not sure what it's with. We should look that up. But Two-Spirit is a Native term and concept for people who don't fit in simplistic gender and sexuality boxes.
And a lot of them use it.
And a lot of people, a lot of Native communities use it, yeah. Who else? Who wants to share something about your flag? Lily?
I went with the traditional pride flag because most of the flags have been taken and it was slim pickings.
True enough. Anything else you want to say about it?
Sorry, I thought 200.
Ash is like, I thought 200 was plenty. I thought 200 was plenty. Oh, okay, wait, Leslie, let me come back there with the microphone.
I'll say, I also just picked randomly, but got the traditional pride flag, and that kind of is appropriate to me because I have been involved in AIDS walkathons and pride stuff since the very beginning, back in the early 90s. I took our youth group kids to Manhattan, to New York City, to the very first AIDS walkathon parade, and it's been very important to me since then.
Okay. Anybody else? Ash.
So I've got a couple of flags in front of me. The first one is the non-binary flag, which I am also wearing. It's got a black stripe, a purple stripe, a white stripe, and a yellow stripe there at the bottom. And this one is for my personal gender, which is gender is just the performance, the costume I put on for the stage. I look at gender and say, nah. But I also picked the trans flag, which, as described earlier, is blue, pink, white, pink, and blue again. And this is for my family. My little brother is trans, and right now, so is my other little brother. And we have one brother left, but he's 5, so we'll just see.
I think that we should include that phrase in all future Pride services. All right, Sandra, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything particular about the flag itself, but I have one of the flags that illustrates the tremendous diversity. And it took me back to thinking about when I was teaching nursing in 1975 at Baptist Hospital School of Nursing, and it was scandalous in the school that I actually included in my course content material about LGBTQ. We didn't have even all the letters then. And I had a male student who came to meet with me privately and revealed that he was gay. And this was a huge thing for him. And I just am thinking, oh my goodness, how far we have come that we could acknowledge so much, diversity and so much more acceptance of the way people are. And like I said, it was scandalous in Baptist School of Nursing that I had dared to even have, content in my course to talk about anything other than heterosexuality.
So that raises a really important point. Let us think for a moment with incredible gratitude of all the courageous people in this room and not in this room who have taken actions privately and publicly over the last decades, centuries, to make it possible for us to celebrate this, for there to be so many flags, for there to be an acknowledgement of so many identities, so that we can say, gender, and actually say that in a room of people who are all like, okay, we welcome all this diversity. That's huge. So let's just take a moment. I just want to invite you to take a moment. Take a moment and think of the people in your life who were those courageous people. Maybe it was a teacher. Maybe it was yourself. Maybe it was someone you saw on television. Maybe it was someone you saw in a public event. Maybe it was an author. Maybe it was your parent or your sibling who taught you something, who had courage, who opened your mind, who opened the world for you in a powerful way. I particularly want to name both the ancestors and the elders. some of whom gave their lives, could have this kind of an event today. And the young people. Big, huge shout out to every young adult. Youth and young adults. I would be utterly clueless without the brilliance of the young adults in my life, in this community, and in my family, who have been like, oh, Lord, Mom, no, please, let me correct you on that. Who've helped me understand, who've said, open your mind, when I thought, oh, I have an open mind. I know the things. I teach OWL. And they were like, well, they need to revise the curriculum then, because there's stuff you don't know. So a huge thank you to the pioneers who are currently pioneering our understanding of what diversity actually means. So I want to tell you about, for our justice and generosity portion of our service this morning, I want to tell you about what Westside is doing every year, and particularly this year, to make sure that we are making progress. That progress flag has an arrow pointing towards the future. We're not done yet. There's as much diversity as there are beings on the planet. So there's more to learn and there's more to do. So as we have mentioned periodically, we were established as a welcoming congregation a number of years ago, which meant that the congregation went through a process, an extensive process and a somewhat difficult process, to learn enough to identify itself as a congregation that welcomes LGBTQ people. And that was, I think it was just LGBT at the time, right? Wasn't it, Ellen? Probably at the time, the QIA and the plus weren't even on the list, right? So we became established as a welcoming congregation. This is before my time. And recently, in the last few years, we need to keep working. So every year, we have to do enough work to recertify ourselves now. So we have to do services, at least a couple services every year on this topic. We have to mark certain days of observance, like the Day of Silence or the Trans Day of Visibility. We'll be doing, LGBT History Month in October, things like that, all year long, AIDS Day, all kinds of days of observance. We have to mark those through the course of the year. It's not like something that's one and done and check it off. It's an ongoing thing. And we do educational work. So this last year, starting in the fall and then into January, a number of us read the book Authentic Selves, which focused on trans families. And we discussed that as a book, and then we also had a service that was discussing that. The last component of making sure we're certified is that we contribute to an LGBTQIA plus affirming organization financially. So our our Justice and Generosity partner is Knox Pride. And I misspoke last week. I spoke like it was a year ago. And I said we split what's in the plate. We do not do that anymore. We have one box and one QR code for our partner, for our Justice and Generosity partner, which is Knox Pride, and the board actual amount that it will donate, to which anything else you contribute to Knox Pride will be added. So that goes through the end of this month, okay? So we'll probably be submitting our certification for this year, actually in the early fall, because we're going to mark a couple more days of observance. But every year, we make a point of renewing that certification. So if you have ideas or thoughts or ideas about how you'd like to help this congregation continue that work, please let us know. We have a welcoming congregation team. If you're on it, Ellen, raise your hand. Ellen and Suzanne, our worship associate this morning, and Barry. So we have a number of people who've been working to make sure that that keeps happening. So if you have an idea for something you'd like to do, please let us know. All right. And now it is time for the parade. Now, being as not organized as we were, we did not come up with music for the parade, so I think I'm going to play True Colors. Who wants to lead the parade?
Where is it going?
Well, here's what we're going to do. Good question, Judy. We're going to start just in the sanctuary to get your spirits up. And then, for anybody who feels daring and brave, outside and just around the property a little bit. So is someone willing to take our Westside UU Church banner? Ash, come on up.
Let's see if I'm tall enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a tallness thing. Okay, to take this one. Ash, you can take the one off the piano.
Okay.
This one's a tallness thing. So take this one, and Ash will take the one off the piano. And the rest of you, I'm going to play True Colors, and we're going to have a little bit of a parade in the room, and then the brave shall follow Yetta and Ash out onto the grounds. And then we're going to come back, and we're going to have rainbow cake.
And a fruit rainbow.
And a fruit rainbow.